What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and today we are going to be taking a look at the best new treasure coming soon to Storybook Brawl. It might already be out by the time you're watching it, but Radiant Prism is going to be a new Tier 7 treasure, and it might seem a little innocuous, and Radiant Prism is a pretty cool treasure because on the surface, it doesn't really do anything. It might not do anything even when you pick it up, but if you are willing to take the time to build around it, it can do it all. And Radiant Prism is just going to be really, really strong. We're going to be taking another look at Snow Angel. I think this is going to be the Snow Angel that you'll see on the new patch as well, on the June patch. And I'm up on the top of the screen so that way you can see how many more units I have to purchase at each point in the game, because I noticed on my last Snow Angel video I was blocking that off. So we're going to start off doing pretty similar things to my video 2 days ago. Snow Angel, kind of a linear hero, but very powerful. And somebody in this game is going to get a Radiant Prism and just do some really cool stuff with it that I wanted to be able to showcase for you guys, so you have some ideas for how to play around with it once it goes live, if you happen to see it in your games. And we are going to do some cool stuff with Snow Angel in this one. It's actually going to feel a little bit like a classic Snow Angel game, I would say, because we are going to wind up picking up some Humpty Dumptys, and then we roll into a third Humpty Dumpty. Now, this is something that I feel like Snow Angel will actually do less of now, because the ability levels up throughout the game. This was almost more classic Snow Angel because you could just randomly find Humpties throughout the game, but I don't know how strong my opponent is. This isn't something that I'll always do, but I don't feel super powerful, so I'm gonna keep both of my Humpties in my hand just so I can grab that Easter egg treasure next turn. And by the looks of it, if we had attacked into the Frog Prince, we probably would have cracked one of our eggs, so I'm glad we did it this way. And then we roll into 3 blind mice. Kind of crazy. I'm very tempted to go Genie's Wish and grab like a shrink spell and grab all of this stuff, but we're gonna play it consistently here. I'm just gonna grab this Easter egg treasure, and then I'm gonna grab just one more blind mouse, and then lock. And then next turn, I can pick up both blind mice and then pick up the Genie's Wish, and that'll be fine. We're kind of ignoring the Snow Angel hero power a little bit, but a tier 4 treasure on 3.0 could still give us a lot of direction. It could give us a forking rod, it could give us I don't know, kind of hoping for forking rod, though Sky Castle is obviously a huge contender because we are playing with the new Snow Angel here, and we get lucky. We don't even have to play up against anybody, so we're gonna get a free Easter egg treasure there. And this is a really good shop too. There's some interesting things to consider. We could pick up just the prince and the princess, and then we get an additional unit from Snow Angel. So I think that's going to be the way to go, and I'm going to lock onto these blind mice for another turn. I will go ahead and cast the Genie's Wish, see what that gives us, and then we also get the Giving Tree, I believe it's called, from Snow Angel. This isn't going to be a card that you'll have to know about. It won't be on the test, but when it survives damage, it gives the units behind it +1/+1 permanently. So that could potentially help give us some more scaling on these Sherwood Shore Shots and just overall allow us to continue to be strong here with a bunch of ranged units and then the huge Humpty Dumpty. But ranged units always good with the Easter egg treasure because they'll get that boost, and they really just appreciate the boost, and then they're also more likely to slay and stick around. Or not slay, but I was just going to say slay and stay. They're more likely to stay. We'll pick up the blind mice triple on this turn, and I think Fool's Gold is really good with Snow Angel. Just additional purchasing power. We don't really need to purchase any spells, and the ability to roll and pick up more units means that we can get Snow Angel to those higher tiers just a little bit faster. So we'll wind up locking onto this shop because it's got 3 good units in it, and we'll see how that one works out for us. But we are going to get the sleigh with our Brave Princess, and then we are going to get a little bit more stats on our Sherwood Sure Shot. So things are looking absolutely great here, and we are probably going to walk away from this one with at least one trigger on a Sherwood Sure Shot. So that's pretty nice, and feeling quite strong for this stage of the game. We can also pick up 3 good units right here, and that will allow us to grab a tier 4 unit. So that's pretty nice. I do have to consider, like, I'm not actually playing this donkey, so I just decided to roll and see what else we can find, and I am thinking it could be kind of silly if we could find just some more eggs. That could be something nice that we can add to the board. And then I'm trying to figure out, what am I actually going to be playing this turn? Am I going to be playing the Good Witch? Am I going to be playing like Sherwood Sure Shots? And what does that mean for what I want to add to this board? But definitely a lot going on, a lot of things to consider. We could play like Brave Princess in 2. There's honestly just so many things happening. I'm going to wind up picking up a triple of Giving Tree, and that gives me Van Helsing, which is another just experimental unit, probably not making it to the live patch, but kind of interesting. I think I brought it up in the video the other day. It's not really great with Snow Angel because we are playing only good units, but it's still a questing unit, so it could potentially allow us to find Sky Castle or something like that. I decided I don't want to go for Brave Princess. I think that it's not really going to wind up helping us that much, so ultimately we're not really going to need it. Now, my opponent has 3 evil units, so that will give us some angles for Van Helsing. It'll take out the creeper here, but a little bit awkward regardless. We really needed the Vampire to like attack into the Humpty there, but this combat winds up working out really, really awkwardly for us. We lose our Humpty, don't really get too much progress on Van Helsing, so a little bit awkward, but I would still say that we are pretty strong for this point of the game and that Fool's Gold can do some nice work for us. So now we're level 4. I kind of want to do similar things to what I did in my video 2 days ago. If you haven't seen that already, make sure you check it out. I would say pause this video right now and go check that one out first, so you'll have an idea of some of what I'm talking about. I am considering this Rabble Rouser for the trees, and I want to purchase some more good things anyway. So Rabble Rouser is support, deal 1 damage to the 2 things in front of me, and give them 1 attack permanently. So kind of a weird unit. It's obviously very much meant to be used with these giving trees, and we're gonna try to just make as much use of all of these synergies as we can that are in this build of the game. But most of these things aren't going to make it to the live version of the game. Just something to keep in mind. I'm not going to worry about the Frog Prince at this point. There's no real way to pick it up, and I don't want to lock. I want to start using more of my cash to pick up Court Wizards and Prince Arthurs if we can find them, but it looks like we might not be able to do so. The main reason for that, though, is we're just going to be potentially looking at so many different tier 4 treasures. We've got 2 questing units, and then we also have these Rabble Rousers, so definitely a decent chance to find the tier 4 treasures that we're looking for. Fortunately, this combat, all we're going to find ourselves with is a bunch of damage here, taking 13, but we still have this Fool's Gold, so I think that we can make some nice use out of that. I'll also triple onto the Sherwood Sure Shot. I take the Hermes Boots, though I think as our 3rd treasure, I should have just skipped, because if we're looking for Sky Castle, I don't really want to toss my Easter egg, and I definitely don't want to toss Fool's Gold this early into the game. So I wind up picking up Rabble Rouser here, and this gives me Sky Castle, so I've got to toss the boots. I don't really think there's another way around that, and I did realize that basically as soon as I picked up the Hermes Boots, but there's a lot going on in these beta games, a bunch of cards that you have to read. We also just got a tier 5 character from Snow Angel, and that is going to be Priest of the Burning Light, I believe it's called, that we looked at yesterday, that doubles your support abilities. It isn't a royal, it's just a mage, but it is going to make it that we activate this Nutcracker immediately right here, which also isn't super necessary because we already have the Sky Castle, but it'll give us 2 extra gold. It'll give us an upgraded royal, from the Nutcracker, so maybe that'll provide some additional incentive next turn. Hopefully we can find some Arthurs and Court Wizards before we level up and hit tier 5, and then we're gonna probably move out of that plan, but it'll depend to what Snow Angel gives us. So Nutcracker we did complete. That is pretty nice, and my opponent also has a bunch of evil units, and we are potentially gonna get some value here out of our Van Helsing. That is going to get some nice hits in because it is a ranged unit, so it's actually going to go pretty far here and actually tie us the combat, trading... Oh, no, it wins us the combat, taking out my opponent's 3 9s, and then it gets the Easter egg treasure all at the end of that. And Baba Yaga's Hut, if you watched the video 2 days ago, just worked out so nicely for us. I think that this is a really, really strong treasure that I want to play it again. So I'm going to wind up tossing my Easter egg and just picking up the Baba Hut. Definitely don't want to go for mummies because we are Snow Angel. I'd really love to pick up a Giving Tree, and then I'd still love to find more Court Wizards. Maybe we can do something with that and the Baba Hut, or maybe they will just be strong. The other thing that I'm thinking is if we put a little bit more health on the Court Wizard, which we will currently be doing because it's upgraded. We could have also done it through the Giving Tree, but a little bit more health on the Court Wizard means that it can survive the Rabble Rouser, which means we'll also be able to frontline the Court Wizard, and there's just some cool stuff that we can do. I'm going to wind up taking Gloves of Thieving here because Gloves of Thieving plus Baba's Hut seems like pretty cool. Getting to steal 2 units from my opponent each turn could really help to potentially push us in another direction. So we are going to get some nice stats here. The Rabble Rouser is going to hit the Giving Tree a bunch of times, so Court Wizard now up to an 11-8 probably, or maybe 11-7, and that is going to mean that now we can potentially start to frontline it, get some nice stats from that. So all of that is pretty cool. Court Wizard going to win us this fight, and then we also did steal some things from my opponent. Don't remember exactly what we stole, but okay, one of those was a Giving Tree. That's pretty sweet. We can now upgrade this Giving Tree, and I think we just skip this treasure. I don't really want to give up on any of my treasures that we're currently working with, so let's just do that, and then don't really think I want Court Monster. I think I really just want to find Court Wizard and Arthurs, if those are still potentially around. So that's what I'm going to do, but you will see here that I move the Court Wizard in front of the Rabble Rouser and to also make use of the Baba Hut, and we could potentially do some really gnarly things even if we don't have Prince Arthur in this game. So definitely something cool. This is free to pick up Lonely Prince because it doubles because of the Sky Castle, and we can just get rid of the treasure by skipping it. So all this did really, if our plan is just to skip the treasure, is it ticks down on the Snow Angel. So that works out nicely for us, and I'm just going to wind up skipping. I do consider the possibility of a Noble Steed because we do still have Lancelot and Hercules to think about getting in the future, but we're not going to worry about that right this second. Oh, and then I guess we do still have Van Helsing. Almost forgot about that guy. I'm going to wind up picking up an Arthur here, and then I don't know if I lock onto the Burning Priest or not. I think not. I think I want to pick up this Arthur. I almost don't pick it up because of the hand size issue there, but we're going to just hope that the Court Wizard has enough stats right now, and it actually does. It is able to do some really nice things here. And then it is going to get a bonus attack and take down this donkey as well. So we get some nice stealing, we get some nice slaying, and all of this is going really, really well for us, growing the Court Wizard without Arthur. We also complete the Van Helsing, grabbing a tier 4 treasure from that, which is honestly probably just going to translate into 2 gold. I don't think I want any of these things. Deck of Many Things can be good. Ring of Rage can be good. But I I think really want to hang on to the Sky Castle and want to potentially hang on to the Gloves of Thieving as well for what they might allow us to do later on in this game. I'm going to pick up another Court Wizard. That's really nice. And now just looking for another Court Wizard, another Prince Arthur to roll into this turn. When we pick up one more unit, it is worth noting that that will give us a tier 6 unit. So this Arthur will give us a tier 6 unit here, and that is going to be a really interesting one. This is Lord of the Ramparts, probably not a card that is going to make it into the live, but support, or royal support rather, royals in front of it get +5/+5 and ranged, which is really interesting and allows us to really do some absolutely nutty things with Court Wizard. But more than that, one thing that I felt like I neglected to do in my game the other day was, so I'm just rolling super hard here for Court Wizard to see if we can find it at the last second, and we do. Can I sell 3 things for it? No, not going to be able to sell in time. I sell 2 things and kind of mess up my board a little bit, throwing a star monster right there in the center. So a little bit awkward. But one thing that I felt like I didn't get to do in my game the other day was really make use of the Sky Castle while there are tier 5 and tier 6 royals. And like I said, most of those are not going to be coming to the live patch, but that's not going to stop me from doing some silly things on the beta. We've seen before that I've been able to do some really cool things with Dwarven Forge on like Horde Dragon, where it just takes 2 dwarves to make some really sweet treasures. We'll pick up the Court Wizard here. I don't even remember. Yeah, I guess I did lock into the shop. This Priest of the Burning Light I don't think is really going to do anything for us because we are not a... it's not a royal, so I really don't want to care about that, but I am thinking that picking up another one of these 5/5s next turn could be really cool because that'll allow us to get a tier 6 treasure, and that could just be a ton of fun. So we're really strong right now because of the Court Wizards. We're doing some nice stuff with the Baba's Hut. I'm basically just looking for more Prince Arthurs here if I can find it, but I'm just going to settle for a healing potion just for a little bit more strength. Maybe it'll come up, maybe it'll be relevant for some future turns here. And then I should also be putting the Prince Arthur, or the King Arthur, sorry my lord, to disrespect, I should be putting that in front of the 5/5, so that way that gets ranged. We'll see if I wind up changing that around this combat. I think I forget to do it for one of my combats in this game, maybe 2. It gets a little bit tricky, the positioning, because you want to have all your Court Wizards be backlined, but then there's also interesting supports now in the Royals comp, so it definitely gives some interesting incentives. But we are going to wind up playing the board like this, and that's fine. I do want to give +5/+5 to my second Court Wizard, so that part is intentional. And then Prince Arthur, or King Arthur, gets attacked into regardless, so it's not going to matter too much here. Court Wizard will get to steal some nice things from my opponent and also grow and slay, so that is super sweet. We'll also steal a Baba Yaga upgraded, which could do some interesting things here with the Baba Hut, but going to be looking for Lord of the Ramparts this turn for sure. You do also have to remember, oh that's right, we have Horn of the Olympus. I totally missed that I picked that up. I think I did that when I was rewatching this game as well, but we have Horn of Olympus, so actually that means that Lord of the Ramparts gives all of my frontline units range. Now, 3 of them already had ranged, but it meant that my backline positioning actually didn't matter, so I just kind of forgot about that. We can keep the Baba Yaga in the 6th position here as well, and it won't matter, but I think that this is really good. Now we actually do have the other unit here, the Rabble Rouser, actually pumping up everything, so that is pretty good as well. I am going to pick up one more Court Wizard, see if we can find a pair for that, as well as rolling for Rabble Rouser. I don't think I want to go for Mirror Mage, though it could be really cute, basically getting to steal an opponent's entire comp? Okay, we got to try it out here. We've got the Horn, we've got the Baba Yaga. This could just be absolutely massive. So we'll try that, and then Joan of Aardvark is also here. That's not really going to be something I make too much use out of, but I think I will just wind up locking onto Lord of the Ramparts here in this combat. We could have like fed something to the Kraken and then sold something to just open up a space in the shop. It's not going to be super important. I'm just going to go ahead and do that here regardless, which really just makes room for Court Wizard. Now, unfortunately, this opponent with a Lightning Dragon is going to make it so that Court Wizard is only slaying once because they hit my Baba Yaga, so that part is a little bit annoying, but Court Wizard in the front line is interesting tech against these people Lightning Dragoning and attacking my back line Royal units. So kind of funny, that is going to ultimately result in a pretty easy win there. And we actually steal their Lightning Dragon, so potentially can do some cool stuff with that. And speaking of cool stuff, I have some ideas brewing here. Ninth Book of Merlin is okay for us right now because we do have Mirror Mage, we do have Baba Yaga, and we do have 2 Court Wizards. All of those are mages. So Ninth Book of Merlin already works with half of our squad, and I might even want to put in an additional Court Wizard. We'll see. But there's a chance that it could do something even crazier. We have Nyan Sea Terror. We also have the Sky Castle, and there are tier 5 Royal units in this build of the game. Now, and here it is, the Court Monster. When you are going to see Radiant Prism come to life, it is going to be a tier 7 treasure. In this game, it's a tier 5 treasure, which means that we can actually hunt for it with both Nyan Sea Terrors and Court Monsters because of the Sky Castle, and we can do some really nutty stuff with it. I have to sell one more unit to pick up this Court Wizard or Court Monster, so I'm not sure what that's going to be, but I think I like Lightning Dragon. So I think it's got to be Court Wizard or Baba Yaga that goes, and I'm going to wind up selling off of the Baba Yaga here to pick up the Court Monster. It's a little bit awkward because we still have the Horn, and we're not really making great use of the Horn now that we've cut out the Rabble Rouser and the Baba Yaga, but we've also cut the Baba Hut, so it's not like I have any slays to double at this point. Our Court Wizards are going to be absolutely massive. That's going to allow us to take out Gabby Sparts here, and I think that we are doing some nice work all around. So Gabby is going to be gone, and now we are just going to hunt for tier 5 units and see if we can't find the Radiant Prism ourselves. I didn't want to spoil it at the beginning of the video, but we are actually going to be the player that finds the Radiant Prism, and we actually have a really well set up board for it. That's the reason I'm going for it. Radiant Prism will make everything a royal, so Court Wizard will trigger when anything is attacked. Also, it's making everything good. So, well, it will make everything good, so that we'll have some interesting synergies with Snow Angel as well, and it will also make it so that everything is a mage, and that's the most important part because we've got Ninth Book of Merlin, so that's going to mean that everything will cast a spell when it dies. So that is really strong, and I believe, oh no, we don't find it right here. We find it right... No, we have to buy this Court Wizard. Okay, never mind. Maybe that's a next turn thing. I got a little bit ahead of myself. I do think I want to put another Court Wizard onto this board. We have enough of a life total buffer. Oh no, I don't go for it. Okay, I just faked myself out totally. But there's the Nyan Sea Terror, so we are going to want to pick that up. I don't want to sell off my Court Monster just yet because we... might not find Radiant Prism off of our first tier 5 treasure. So we are going to have to just wait on it and pick up the Nyan Sea Terror next turn. There wasn't enough things that we could have sold. I didn't really want to sell the Mirror Mage, though in hindsight probably could have. Not really going to be doing too much with the Mirror Mage ultimately. You are going to notice that we had a decent amount of time on the clock this turn to figure out those to figure out what we wanted to do in all of our shops. And basically that is indicating to me that somebody in this lobby, and it's not the Peter Pants, but somebody in this lobby, maybe with 47 health, is playing a slay comp. And all of those slay animations just add a bunch of time to the global shop timer, which is just really, really silly. We are gonna get our Alpha Court Wizard attacked into, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we are gonna be able to cast a bunch of spells with all of these things. I think we might wind up, I don't know, we're still huge, and we've got more ranged units than my opponent here still, with the fact that our King Arthur is also a ranged unit. So yeah, we will win this one just out of having more ranged units than my opponent. So that is really good. And if I remember correctly, yeah, we're gonna start to see that these shops have really long timers on them, but we find Radiant Prism in our first try. And my first thought is now we can toss the Sky Castle. My second thought is, wait, no, now everything is a royal. We can keep the Sky Castle and we can double up with any units. So this is really sweet. Radiant Prism plus Sky Castle is something that you will be able to pick up on the live patch. You just probably won't be able to get into it as easily, again, because Radiant Prism is going to be a tier 7 treasure. But everything is now a royal. Everything is now a mage. There are a lot of really interesting rooms for synergies that we are going to look at. And everything is going to trigger the monster book. Everything, or not the monster book, the 9th book of Merlin. Everything is going to trigger this court wizard, and I might mess up the positioning on this combat. Let's jump ahead because I don't need to talk for 2 more minutes. Okay, so what I should be doing is taking this guy, whatever it's called, Rampart or whatever. I'm just thinking about if I want to cast a knighthood or not. I should be using it to support King Arthur and Lightning Dragon, because both of those are now royals, and we could give Lightning Dragon ranged and flying, so that would be really sweet. The reason that I am now locking onto Rabble Rouser is we are really, really close to the Exodia build. This board will just, I mean, there's ways to make this board better by picking up some better units. Namely, you'll see that I picked up the Baby Bear this turn. Any summons are going to be really, really good when you have Radiant Prism, because the summons respawn and they're everything. So they're going to cast you spells. They're going to trigger your court wizards. They're going to trigger your bear stains if you have that. So that's all going to be great. But the other thing that we can do that we can use to really improve our board, the next best treasure, is going to be to find Mimic Chest. So that is the sole reason I am locking onto this Mirror Mage. I want to double some tier 6 units while we have this Sky Castle, and what that's going to allow us to do is to, I'm just debating the kidnap there versus hanging on to my gold for finding more tier 6 units, but that'll give us double 9th Book of Merlin, which means everything casts 2 spells when it dies, which means that Baby Bear will cast 6 spells just by itself. So that is the reason that we wind up picking up Baby Bear in this slot as well. So Baby Bear is going to get attacked. It's going to cast us a spell and trigger both of my court wizards, and you can just see how this gets totally out of hand. And then we've got this guy supporting both of these units, so they won't even attack themselves. They'll always get attacked into, which is just going to trigger the court wizards again there. So we were up against the ghost, but really, really sweet combat. Unfortunately, this timer is just going up after each of these brawls. 460, that is, what is that, like 9 minutes or something? Not quite, right? Maybe it's like 7 minutes. I don't feel like doing the math. We don't find the Mimic Chest, so I'm going to wind up rolling off of that. But interestingly, really, really cool here, we pick up a good unit that triggers our Snow Angel because everything is good. So there would be another potential way to go about this here. We could just start picking up every 2-cost unit, which will give us a bunch of 6-cost good units, which will give us Hercules, and then it will give us Good Boys, Green Knights, Bear Stains. I feel like it's probably easier to just roll, but I also really want Pumpkin. Pumpkin, everything right now is also evil. I should mention that. Everything is good and everything is evil, so we just picked up a Pumpkin King for a full good board, but the Pumpkin King is still going to do some work with Snow Angel as well, and also going to give us a bunch of summons. Now, the Kidnap is again something that I am strongly considering. We do know that this Trophy Hunter is probably on Slay comp, so I don't really care that much for it. And then I do toy around with the idea of putting in the Good Boy. We can make it a 12-12. Ultimately, I don't think that that is going to be strong enough. I think I just want to play Lord of the Ramparts and Pumpkin King and all of this other fun stuff. And we'll see how it works out against my opponent. But interestingly now, Lightning Dragon is both a Royal and a Mage, and it also has ranged because of Lord of the Ramparts, and it's also evil for the Pumpkin King, and it's good. It's everything, and that is why Radiant Prism is so cool. We're definitely going to jump ahead a little bit to closer to the combat, and we'll see that I wind up rearranging my board slightly. Ultimately, I think that this is a little bit of a mistake, and then I do wind up casting the Kidnap. Oh, okay, great. And then at the last second, I put the Lightning Dragon back in the first position. I had like 500 seconds to make a decision and wind up making it in the final one, but that is totally fine. We still get there. My opponent is going to slay on the Lightning Dragon, but we take out their Riverwash Mermaid. So that is going to do a lot of work for us. And basically, what we're going to have to do here is scam the Lightning Dragon, check, and scam my opponent's Jormungand. And if we can do that, we will actually get a decent amount of value still, and really still have a great shot to win this game. Now we take out all of my opponent's other support, so Jormungand is just a Jormungand, and then my opponent has an 11-11 with ranged. So really this is just going to come down to, can we scam Jormungand? And with all of these spells coming out of Baby Bear, we are going to be able to get there. So we hit my opponent, tough luck for 13. Pretty nice stuff, but I'd still like to make it even a little bit nicer if possible. I'd love to pick up a triple for Pumpkin or potentially for Good Boy, and that will allow us to have a little look-see and see if we can't find a Mimic chest, so that way there is no chance that we don't scam our opponents. And if we can find that, that is the current Exodia build, and that will just be really, really sweet. So I'm hunting for that. We're not quite going to find it. I don't think that we find anything of value this turn, so we're just going to be rolling with this comp, and that is totally fine. We'll do a few more rolling here, plenty of time left on the shop. Again, maybe just want to be picking up these tier 2 units. I definitely want to be picking up any golden chickens that I find, but it's not that bad of value to just buy like that pair of Wizards Familiars there. We buy both Wizards Familiars, we skip the treasure, we sell the Wizards Familiar. It cost us 1 gold to get 2 hits on Snow Angel. It's at least something to think about in this very specific scenario where you have Radiant Prism, Sky Castle on Snow Angel. It's like a make your own Wonder Waddle, but for absolutely everything. And I hope that I am showcasing off the incredible power that is Radiant Prism in this game, because it is super, super cool, despite not having that many lines of text on it, which I think just makes it even cooler. The possibilities for what you can come up with are almost endless. There's some really insane stuff that you can do into it. You can move into scam comps. You can just play like pumpkins and cupids and things like that, and then they're all also still mages, and pumpkin kings will summon more stuff. Your croc spells become really good. So like the absolute best comp that you could possibly put together with a Mimic Radiant Prism Mimic chest is probably, did I say that right? Ninth Book of Merlin, Radiant Prism, Mimic Chest. That's the Exodia for treasures, and then the Exodia board is just going to be crocs, just thousands of crocs all the way down, and there's some potential interesting backdoor ways into this comp through making some crocs. Falling Stars is going to finish off my opponent's Wizards Familiars there and give us a win against Peter Pants, but the clock has 1,300 seconds on it. It's about 21 minutes that we are going to have to wait. So I'm not going to subject you guys to all of this. What this means is that my opponent got to slay a ton against the Ghost and is going to be pretty hard to take down, all things considered. So we can still scam them. Lightning Dragon is going to be able to do a lot of work, and we find the Evil Twin. This isn't something you'd typically ever do. We don't have to Evil Twin Good Boy. We can Evil Twin the Great Pumpkin. We just have to sell off one of our units here, and if we can find the Mimic Chest, I think we win. If we don't, I'm not sure if I want to skip or if I just want to play it out and see what happens. Like, well, we'll see what happens once we roll into the potential treasures here. But I am definitely going to go for this Evil Twin. I'm going to sell off Arthur. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this board before I do it, because this is a really important decision, I think. Not really in terms of what we Evil Twin. That is basically spoken for, though Good Boy is good with Snow Angel as well, and it would give out doubled stats, but the Pumpkin is just going to be so good with the Ninth Book. I'm really just nervous about whether or not we are going to get this Mimic Chest, so I think it is time that I stop delaying it. Let's jump ahead and see if we can find our treasure choices right here. Unfortunately, we do not find the Mimic Chest. So no Exodia today. That is going to be something you'll have to look forward to in another video, but we have a really interesting choice to make. Do we want to go for the Phoenix Feather, which takes us off of Sky Castle? That's the important thing. If we pick up the Phoenix Feather, we have to toss the Sky Castle, and then it's going to be very, very unlikely that we ever find the Mimic Chest. And what I'm thinking here is we're still at 23 health. We can probably still look at one more tier 6 treasure if we just skip. So I'm going to skip. I'm going to roll another time again. Maybe could have picked up the golden chicken there in that shop. Probably should have just been buying any of those. I don't know if I rolled past any others. And yeah, could have taken a little bit longer to think about the Phoenix Feather as well. We still have a bunch of time left on the clock, but let me know what you would have done. Phoenix Feather here resummons the Lightning Dragon, which is kind of interesting. Lightning Dragon, very good at messing with the Slay comp. We took out their River Wish. We took out their River Wish Mermaid last combat. And I will say, my opponent playing Lightning Dragon means that my positioning here isn't set in stone. We know that my opponent is going to attack us with a Lightning Dragon, so I might want to do that thing again where I frontline my Court Wizards. And I go back and forth on this a lot. We've got a whole bunch of time to make this decision. I'm going to wind up frontlining them. I think I move them to the back line for a moment before frontlining them again, before eventually landing on this. I actually loaded up some Marvel Snap and was just playing some other games while this was going on, because this is just a ridiculous amount of time to wait, which is part of the reason we're not going to see all of those doubling effects make it to the live version of the game. But time to find out here who will, or how will, this last combat work out here, and what will happen. And what winds up happening after a little bit of a delay is my opponent casts a Fog, which winds up hitting my Lightning Dragon and meaning that I don't take out their Baba Yaga. This winds up being absolutely disastrous because then my opponent gets absolutely massive slays on the Lightning Dragon. If Fog had hit anything else, we would have been much more in the clear here, but now Lightning Dragon is just going to do a billion slays. My opponent has double upgraded Priest. They've got Riverwash Mermaid, they've got upgraded Baba Yaga, they've got upgraded Mirror Mage. All of these cards I talked about in yesterday's video, as well as I think they made brief appearances in this one. They all made, this was a crazy game. We saw Riverwish Mermaid, we saw Priest, we saw Mirror Mage. My opponent also playing the Baba's Hut, so they just stole a bunch of the guy from us, your Royals have ranged. And that's also just going to be more slays. So this Lightning Dragon is fantastically huge. We can also see that the rest of my opponent's front line is also huge because they were lucky enough to battle up against the Ghost and just really scale tremendously against them. So this is going to go on for a while, this animation, and unfortunately, the game's going to crash. So the game just isn't equipped to deal with this, and we're not going to get back into it. This is the end. This is the last thing that we're going to see from this game. A little bit of a disappointing ending, but hopefully still showed off enough of the cool power of Radiant Prism before everything went up in smoke. So a little bit awkward. I'm going to move myself down here now to finish out the video, just because that's going to help me with editing later on. But yeah, a little bit of an unfortunate and awkward way to end. Now, I will say what probably happens is, while unlikely, my opponent doesn't have a single unit die. They have an absolutely huge front line, so it's not totally out of the question that nothing in their front line dies. But basically, and then also the unlikely part being that we don't kill a single one of my opponent's units with my spells. My opponent's going to wind up emoting at me, and I emote back just because we are in purgatory here where I can't even figure out, and also that I just waited 20 minutes to get to this combat. So a little bit annoying, but obviously don't hate the player, hate the game. Just some friendly emoting there. I was also messaging on Discord and getting in touch with them there. So no hard feelings. It was really fun, but there we lose connection to the game. So if we take a look at one point during that, I count everything out. But my opponent has, 7 units, which is going to translate for 21 damage, plus they are level 6, so that is going to mean 27 damage. So that means we need to clear 2 of their units to not die. And if we do that, if we can get into another shop, maybe we can find the Mimic Chest, and if we can find the Mimic Chest, I think that we win. I think that their numbers could all be in the billions, and we could still probably win with the Mimic Chest because we'll have Pumpkin. Their Fog won't hit on my Lightning Dragon again, so my Lightning Dragon will get to take out their back line for free, and then my spells can focus on their front line. And that's the idea. Unfortunately, again, we do lose connection, so we'll never really know what happened, and I'd like to believe that maybe there's a chance that I still could have won this game. But unfortunately, that is it for it all today, and hopefully you guys can have some fun with the new Radiant Prism, because you can do some absolutely insane stuff with this brand new treasure. That is going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.